Oh, hi there, everybody. We've had a few technical difficulties, but we're back. We're here, and we're really excited about our chat today about New Moon Circle in Virgo. It's a time of accepting our own imperfections, and we were just wiggling around with exactly that just now. So the screen looks a little bit differently than what you're used to, but we're still going to provide insights that I feel are going to be valuable. So let's take a look at the first slide that we wanted to share with you today. Valen, you've got control over the.
I know I'm clicking on it and it's not going there, of course. There we go.
There
Hopefully
we
it's going
go.
to take time.
It's going to take a moment, yeah. And so we wanted to share with you a couple of things. Valen is doing her Language of the Stars course, an initiation into the wisdom of astrology for beginners. So that's Stars 1, what we've referred to as Stars 1, for exploring that magic. And it includes, Valen, do you want to talk a little bit about what it includes? Just really give us a
Yeah.
really quick overview.
Yeah, just a overview. It gives the basics of the language. So we're talking signs, planets, houses, rulership, just the fundamentals of the astrological language, which means you can look at a chart and have an understanding, certainly in terms of when we look at the full moon or the new moon, and know exactly, oh, that's the house, that's the planet, that's aspecting. So there's a nuance to the amount of information that you would know from taking this course. It's an 8-week course. And I should just say that anyone who's taken Stars 1 already can just, join in for a refresher, can audit the course. So everyone's welcome who's already done Stars 1 if you want to do a review. So yeah, just it'll give you the fundamentals of the astrological language.
And it's wonderful for intention setting, but also for diving into your own birth chart. I've taken it a couple of times. I love it. I encourage you to look into it, and we'll be sending a notice around with a link so that you can take a look at the page and get more information. And going alongside with that, we also have our new personal moon dance self-paced course. It is an evergreen course, which means that it is something that you can look at and explore as much as you want. It includes video, it includes an ebook, it includes the slides, PDF. Valen takes about an hour to go through the very basics of the energies of each sign when the moon is in each sign, and also the energies of each house. So it's a really great refresher and just a piece of almost a tool that you can have to use to help you to understand new moon and full moon much better for you and how it impacts you specifically. So that personal moon dance course is $35 for regular folks, but for you, New Moon Circle members, we have a little special coupon for you. And so we're going to just send you that email tomorrow with the link to the personal moon dance with that coupon. So go ahead and share that with your friends. We want people to really benefit from that mini course. It's going to be, I think, just a really wonderful, powerful tool to have over the long term. So I'm excited about having it in my toolbox. FYI, if you are a Language of the Stars graduate, we are putting that in your library already because it's part of the bonus for joining up for Language of the Stars. So if you're planning on joining Language of the Stars, which is the live online 8-week course, you'll get Personal Moon Dance for free. If you've already done Language of the Stars 1 or 2, obviously, you will have the Personal Moon Dance in your library. So that's that. Let's move on, shall we?
Okay.
Okay.
How long this will take? Slide up.
Hopefully,
Oh,
hopefully not long. There
long
we
at
go.
all.
Okay, so this is the part where Valen talks a little bit about Zora and the channeled message for this Virgo new moon.
So I channel Soul Collective, and they give messages for our group once a month. So this is the message that I channeled the other day. Greetings. You have before you an opportunity to pause as you prepare to allow yourself a way of being in the world that is of greatest service for yourself and for those who share this life with you. As you align to your true, authentic beingness, know that there is no such thing as perfection in your material world, and yet you are all perfect as you are. Embrace this, know this in your heart, for it is what will guide your next steps in creating yourself a grounded path that leads to your personal fulfillment. This is an opportunity presented at this time to connect to the reality of what you are creating for yourself in your grounded and supported three-dimensional life.
Love that. Okay, so let's just keep moving here. It's weird for me not to have my
wanting to get the job.
Okay, do you want to just scroll up slightly so I can read the entire?
I just have to find the tool, which I've tucked over here. Okay. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so this kind of talks about why it is that we love the new moon so much. And we talk about this a little bit in our personal moon dance course, kind of comparing new moon and full moon. There are lots of full moon circles out there, beautiful full moon rituals, and certainly doing ritual on the full moon. I do ceremony every full moon. It's a beautiful thing to do. The new moon has a very different energy, obviously. And it's quite beautiful to think about the dynamic nature of the moon and how it shifts from new to full in such a short period of time, roughly 14 days. It goes from being that quiet, dark, still time to that full cosmic spotlight. And so this is the time, literally, we're just moving right into it tomorrow. In fact, if we look up at the sky tonight, we probably won't see a moon or not much of one. It's empty. It's a time of emptiness. And emptiness is not something that our society, our culture supports in a big way. Emptiness is something that calls out to be filled. And yet at this time, it does not. It calls out to consider, it calls out to allow for dreaming, for an extension of that stillness and that emptiness, a time to then plant a seed and unfold into your own inner spaciousness. And this particular very gentle and grounded feminine Virgo new moon supports you to open to that imperfect perfection, which is, as we were saying earlier, as we were mucking about with technology today, we were noticing that it was ideal. It was a moment to really just be embracing and be gentle and be supportive of that imperfection without judgment and trusting in our own deeper knowing. And there are many elements of this particular new moon. Ellen, if you want to jump right forward, there are many elements of this new moon that Valen will talk to you about now in terms of the Virgo energies that are drawing us into that space and how the new moon is being impacted by other celestial beings, and how it's drawing us into that space of self-trust.
So just the overall energy of Virgo, what we've got on the slides here is the skillful or the productive energies of Virgo. And then we've also got the unskillful, so where we can slip into things that are less productive in our life. And during the time, the Virgo moon, it's a time to connect with all these different parts of ourselves. So we've got our skillful qualities, which is everything from being, busy and detail oriented and organized, all the sort of things that come naturally to Virgo. It is about the earth healer, and there's that connection to bees that, Sasha so beautifully put in the email, which, we think of bees as earth workers, earth healers. It's being really service oriented, and it's service oriented in a very humble way. It's very practical. It's really dedicated, and it's doing it, in that humbleness of how can one be of service. And when I think of that, and then I also think of service to yourself as well as service to others. So there's all these other, being helpful and modest and devoted. There's all these other pieces of Virgo. So when you look at this list, you can think about what you are connecting with and what you want to connect with when you're thinking about setting intentions for this moon. The unskillful qualities, the pieces that we can slip into at times, are being partly this comes from wanting the perfection. So it's being critical or worrying or being perfectionist, stepping into over responsibility as a way of trying to be of service, but ultimately not being of service to self and therefore not of service to anyone. Being judgmental, looking externally at what you think to be perfection or what should be. And there's a place where slipping into things like workaholic or, overly critical places that you can find in yourself. So there's all different aspects of the Virgo energy. So it's really a matter of feeling into where you relate, taking these words and embracing the places where maybe some of that unskillful stuff is coming up. That's okay, because that actually, and as it comes up, that's fantastic. It's great to acknowledge and see these places in ourselves, and then to draw on the beautiful Virgo energy that wants us to be of the best service we can to ourself. So that's the overview of Virgo itself. And this, there was a lovely picture there, which is gone. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, it's my computer. We'll just ignore that. Once again, embracing the imperfection, because Sasha will know this will drive me crazy. I had a beautiful photo there. Anyway, it was so pretty. It was so perfect. Anyways, so Virgo energy assists in easily creating order out of chaos, using that sense of organization and detail, embracing conscientiousness, really staying with something that feels aligned to what you need to be doing for yourself, offering service with grace, which is so different than stepping into over responsibility, gently focusing on the details, using the gift of checking in on what's right or where you can improve, and taking steps to heal the earth, which of course is such a theme now, globally. It just seems such an important part to connect to the earth in a way that is healing, and recognizing our innate perfection. Now, I will say, looking at this slide, even when we are dealing with imperfection. So there's a real piece of just sort of honoring those pieces of ourselves. So, luckily that picture shows up. So what I've done here is, and I'm just going to scroll down so you can see. There we go. This is the exact date and time for the new moon and the degrees of the new moon. So if anyone does know their chart, it's at 21 degrees, 58 minutes, which is almost 22 degrees. So looking at the chart itself of the moment of the new moon, I've pulled out some key energies as the planets interact with each other so that we can use that to guide us in setting our intentions and to sort of be clear on the energies and how we want to use them. So the first piece, this is a very feminine earth energy. So the minute I thought of that, I thought, oh, that just feels so gentle and supportive. And there are a lot of planets that are retrograde. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter. But what that feels like often is a turning in. It may feel like things aren't moving forward. There's sort of an acceptance of the slowness. So there's a piece there about just being gentle. And being Virgo, this is a great time to see in your life what's working and what isn't working, and just to pay attention. And there's a place about, certainly as we set intentions, like, oh, that's not working, maybe I want to go in this new direction, to take grounded, practical steps, even if they're tiny. So there's a place, Virgo is very practical, it's very grounded. It's like, let's make this happen. So there's a real energy around this. So as you think about, wow, what would I like to use this energy for? Then actually figure out what you're going to do to step forward in that, intention setting. And because there's so many planets right now that are retrograde and moving slowly, having us turn in, having us reflect, having us revisit things, it's a time to be patient, because there is a lot of forward movement coming in the stars. And so this is a great time to plan and attend to what we want to improve in our life. Perfect time for that. So there is also a piece of this new moon that's very exciting. It's connecting with a planet that is about the future. It's about new ideas. It's about awakening. And it's about that happening in unexpected ways. So it's something to watch for, is things, unexpected insights and awarenesses that are going to support you to be authentic, to be who you truly are, and to watch for that. And then it's also, in terms of setting intentions, to be open to gaining insights, gaining awarenesses through unexpected ways. It could even be someone saying something to you, and all of a sudden you have this recognition of some new way of seeing yourself. So really to pay attention to that and acknowledge it, and to embrace what's being offered, even if it comes to you in ways that you were not prepared for. And you know what, as I'm saying this, I'm also thinking, as you set your intentions using this moon, to be open to, it may not evolve, it may not unfold the way you think. And then to allow what that says to you, what truths are revealed in the way that things are unfolding. So I just realized that now. That's a big part of the unexpected part. And this is super exciting. It's the planet Uranus. It's very exciting possibilities. And it's about the future. It's about where you're heading, what is unfolding for you in a way that you may not even actually see from this point. So once again, being open to things coming to you in new ways. So really energized new moon energy coming up. The other piece that's perfect for Virgo right now is that Mercury, the planet that rules Virgo, is basically, it's called stationing direct. It's coming into a place of great power. It's drilling down on its point. It's stopping. So it's really powerful. So it's a great time to examine, to evaluate, to look at our routines, look at our Virgo, absolutely about our day-to-day habits, our health routines, like thinking about, okay, what do I need to look at to improve how I am functioning, how I am setting up myself to be the best that I can be. Often can be health related. And there's a piece about being really realistic about that. And just because of some of the ways the planets are set up at this time, it may not all be fully clear. As much as you may want to have every detail in your mind really clear, you may at times simply have to trust your intuition. There is a part of this moon that basically says information may come through the dreams, not through the mind. So there's a combination here that's going to come together to really bring information to you, maybe in new and unexpected ways. That might be part of it. There's a new reality unfolding, and that's, it's coming up, soon, but honestly, it's coming up over the next couple of years. And there's a place where it's being triggered right now, and there are energies that are supporting all of us to find a new sense of personal empowerment. And so there's a place here of allowing yourself to feel that. What is supporting you? What is allowing you to find your own way of being in the world that feels empowered, and recognizing the future potential that you're following now as it aligns to you being your best self. That's the Virgo place, but there's something coming that you may not even have a full grasp on. And yet, especially with the intuitive part, you can feel it. There's something about feeling into what the future wants to be, and watching for the steps you can take to start to align to your best self, very much around the Virgo energy. And there's something really empowering, strong. It's about standing in our feminine power. And this is not to do with male or female. This is our feminine, intuitive, our inner knowingness. And it's about having the courage to move forward on your future path, your destiny. This is connected to the North Node. And it's about moving fearlessly towards what future we want to create for ourselves. And once again, because it's Virgo, there's something about aligning to that or feeling into it and having courage, but it's having the courage to take that first step, having courage to even make the tiniest movement towards something that you can feel is who you are becoming. And because that's connected with Neptune, which is the planet of our dreams, and our visions can be confusing at times. So what we want to do is, when we're not clear, is to connect to our own intuitive feminine knowingness. That's where a lot of our truths are going to come from with this moon. And that may be where we're guided even to set our intentions for this energy that we're working with right now. And the last point that I've chosen here is grounded optimism, because Venus and Jupiter, these beautiful, they're called the benefics in the sky, and they bring us gifts and they uplift us. And Venus is about relationships, about money, and about what we desire and what we value. And Jupiter is like uplifting us and expanding us. So it's a time to feel into that with the acknowledgement that we can't overextend ourselves and get the full benefits. There's a place here about watching where we tend to either become over optimistic, overcompensate, overextend ourselves to a point where we actually are no longer of service to ourselves or to others. So those are some key points for this moon. And there's a place here there where this is a gentle moon. And so it's a really lovely time to sort of quietly connect in and choose what we might want to set our intentions for, and gently, kindly set our next steps without overreaching. So I think that's kind of an overview of some key points.
Love that. Thanks, Velen. I just also wanted to add that the piece that's actually coming up for me as I sort of listen to what you're saying and look at the image and feel into it is a reminder that though we often, certainly in our journal, we talk about this, but we often look back to the new moon related to a full moon 6 months earlier. So for instance, at the last full moon, we would have looked, remind me what the last full moon was that we just had, even though I was just in it. Pisces.
Pisces.
Yeah. And so looking to, when we were in the Pisces full moon, we would have looked back to the Pisces new moon six months earlier. But in this particular case, I think it's interesting to look forward to the Virgo full moon that will be coming in the spring of 2024. Because you've told us several times, we looked at this when we did our visioning, Dreaming In workshop at the beginning of the year. We looked at it when we were looking at the spring new astrological year in April, at March 21st, actually, for the equinox. So we were looking at that time period of moving into 2024 and all of the big changes that we've all been kind of waiting for. And I feel like this new moon is that first initial practical baby step of actually forming the pieces that are going to form the foundation that we're going to stand on when we land at that Virgo full moon in the spring. And as I say that, my whole body is just like, my hair is standing on end. I'm just buzzing. Could be because I'm in the middle of ceremony right now as well. But it's an interesting opportunity, I think, for us all to feel into that Uranus influence of the future, the Neptunian dreaming aspect, because when we're in that feminine dreaming, that's when we're actually creating reality. Reality of spring of 2024 is created now. Right. And anybody that gardens understands that. Right. We understand.
Totally.
That.
Totally. Yeah. And And exactly what you're saying, that new unfolding is this combination of the outer planets, and the new moon happens to be aspecting them right now. So literally planting a seed for this supportive energy that's coming to us from these bigger outer planets that are these big, they're the bigger influences in our lives, and long-term influences. So that's all the seeds are being planted right now. That's like you've said it beautifully. That's exactly what's happening. And it's, yes, it's going to be for 6 months, but we're actually starting something that is going to continue beyond that. So it'd be interesting to look back actually in 6 months, which is why journaling is always so good. But that's exactly right. So if anyone, that's a great point. If anyone wants to write down their intentions in their journal in every way to reflect back in 6 months, this is definitely a good one to look forward that far.
Yeah, in fact,
Very cool.
let's make a note of doing that, because we'll be offering a couple of different things in the spring, and we can do that. We have the ability to do that, to look back. So we'll do that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
You good?
So yeah, let's thank you.
Well, I can see the beautiful picture of the bees on my preview, but it is not showing up.
Showing up.
So let's just stay on this. Oh, you know what? You know what? No, let's stay on that. There we go. That's much better.
Okay. Had a beautiful, another bee image, but that's okay. You'll see it if you want to, those of you in the recording, or those of you here who want to just review, just a reminder that we always keep the PDF of the images in your library. And you are more than welcome to go in there and download them and have them. And of course, it will be the PDF with all the beautiful images that Belen spent hours and hours creating for you. So we'll just use this for now, because that's whom we're going to go to hang out with. There's a reason, obviously, why I get to spend a little bit more time with her. She reminds me a little bit of my youngest daughter as well. Okay, so let's just take a moment to settle in. And take your hand, one hand, you can maybe make it your non-dominant hand, just place it on your belly, just below your belly button. And if you want to put the other hand at the heart, that always feels good. Give the heart a little bit of a gentle massage. Or if you've had a bit of a day or a bit of a week or just a bit of a moment, because technology is making you a little bit crazy in this moment, you can take your other hand and just place it at the back of the head and begin to kind of slide your energy back to the back of your head and get out of your own face, as one of our teachers likes to say, so that the eyes aren't popping out the front of the head. We're just sliding to the back of the head and sinking into the belly. And just breathing into the belly, in through the nose and out through the nose, and taking a few moments to connect with you, your innate beauty, the magnificence of your physicalness on this plane in this moment. Reminding us that this beautiful feminine Virgo energy is mutable in nature and is part of the energies of the earth. So the element of earth is at play here, very much so. So wiggling your toes, wiggling your tail, maybe rolling your shoulders back, lengthening those neck muscles so that you can sink a little further into your seat, into the ground. If you're barefoot, great. If you're not, wiggle your toes anyway and just feel the earth through your socks or your shoes or your slippers. And find the breath and notice how the breath enters effortlessly, invited into the body with gentleness, being kind to yourself. You don't have to gasp at the breath. There's no pulling at the breath. There's no pushing the breath into the body. There's simply being receptive, at gentle feminine receptivity. And here is the moment when we can soften the heart space and the belly, soften the feet toward the ground, soften the eyes into the sockets. Soften the jaw. And find yourself in that place of openness, opening to welcome your inner bee goddess. She's in there. She's part of you. As we sink into the breath, there can be almost a sense of humming as the breath moves in and out of the body. And if you want to make a little sound for yourself, perfect opportunity for you to do so. Now is the moment to and remind yourself of that bee hum. If you've spent any time around beehives at all, honey beehives, or if you've spent any time around wildflowers where bumblebees like to hang out, even the name bumblebee, bumblebee, that sensation in the body, I love spending time with them. We have wild plants in the back of our yard that the bees just love. And sitting in amongst them and having them buzz busily around my head brings me so much joy and also peace. And finding that place of peace and joy within yourself, deep in the belly, wiggling the tail a little bit, sinking further down into the hips, connecting with your inner bee space, which of course is your womb space. If you are in a male gendered body, you too have a creative womb space in the belly. And so your bee goddess is also present, perhaps differently. I encourage you to feel into it for yourself, to notice, to attend. And then bring to mind your favorite bee image. It might be the one that's in front of us here that Velen created for us today. It may be the hives that you've spent time with in the recent or distant past. It might be childhood times in the fields and the meadows that have wild bees. It may be a moment just this past season of spring or summer when you were watching bees drinking, bees pollinating, bees resting, bees visiting, bees working. And of course, we know that the honeybees, the worker bees, are all female. It's that feminine energy working in service to support the queen, who is simply the co-creator of the hive in terms of producing more and more bees. That is her job, and that is their job. And together they work in harmony. And so sink into a sense of inner harmony within you. Connect with that word harmony, the feeling of harmony. There is no push or pull here. There is no demand. There is no need to be anywhere else other than being here with your inner bee goddess, in harmony with you, in harmony with what is, in harmony with this moment. As you feel into your own inner bee goddess, see if a color comes up for you. It might be the color of gold and honey, or it might be the color of the soon to be turning maple leaves or birch leaves that we find here in Southern Ontario at this time of year. And that is the entry time of the new season, the beginning of the new time. Feel into that for yourself and see how it speaks to you. Take a moment. Take a moment for you to connect with the shifting tide of season as we slowly lumber and lounge and step gently toward the last few days of summer, the lazy, hazy days of the ends of September until we reach the equinox. And very slowly, almost imperceptibly, we realize that we have a moment more of night than day. But here in these last few days, we still have more daylight, golden daylight, sleepy daylight, waning daylight. And let us quietly slip into this time of the new moon as the sun sets around us and the stars twinkle, and we know the moon is in the sky, but unseen. The sky is dark. She invites us, our sister moon invites us to feel into these Virgo energies and connect with and embrace the bee goddess within, the goddess of peace, the goddess of service, peaceful service, not that pushing productivity, not that forcing, not that driving. There's none of that energy here. This is simple being, beingness, being with your beingness in this moment. Notice the colors that are around you, the sounds that are around you, the textures, perhaps even the smell, and of course, the sweet taste of the bee goddess nectar, the honey that reminds us of the beauty that each day is. What a gift. Sinking into that and knowing that there is nothing to be done and everything to be received in this moment. And from this place, we're going to move into our intention for this evening. And Velen will measure out approximately 3 minutes for us so that we can sit quietly together in this group. We include those who are also enjoying the recording. And we've stated this intention in present tense so that you can take ownership of this intention for you. My intention is that I am gracefully guided to be of highest service to myself and others in greatest good for all.